Well, hey everybody, backyard scrapping here. It's been a few months ago. Kevin Rose sent this to me he wants one made out of silver and one made out of copper. I believe these are called Sycee, Chinese Sycee coins. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. I believe it's spelled Sycee, but they're a really kind of a boat-shaped little piece of silver, and this one I can tell is definitely hollow. And because of that, I was going to use this to make a mold in sand and cast it, but because it is hollow and it is very light, I've been a little concerned about damaging it by forcing it into a mold. So I think what I'm going to do is, he wants one out of copper and he wants one out of silver, and he doesn't care about the markings on it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the case to make my mold so as not to risk damaging this at all. But anyhow, I'm finally getting to it, and I'm finally getting to make another video. I haven't been neglecting, my refining and anything like that, but I've actually had the last two job refines that I did, they actually didn't want a video made about it. So I still have to do the refine, and it still takes me just as much time on top of all the other stuff I've got going on. So that's the reason. Now I do have two more packages that just came in, and another package over here that I have to do a mail call on. But the other two packages, I believe they said that I could do videos on them when I do that processing. Also, a little bit back, I did a mail call on Steve's pins that he sent. This is very similar to what Les sent us to refine, but this is just about half as much. And I actually got Steve's permission to do an experimental method on this, so we don't have to wait 6 weeks, or whatever, for these pins to dissolve to get, I mean, there's probably half of what Les got. Les got about 0.4 grams of gold. So this is only going to be about $10 or $12 worth of gold. And waiting, it's got to be a quicker way for these small amounts. So we're going to actually process that a new way. But anyway, getting back to Kevin, I'm going to go ahead and do this mold, copying just this little case. So it is actually going to be a little bit bigger than this guy. And like I said, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's spelled Sycee, I believe. But these were actually like money. So anyhow, I'm going to get out the sand and get to making a mold for this. So we'll get back at you in just a bit. Okay guys, we are back. I'm actually going to pack the sand, because this has this little shape right here is going to be a little awkward, to get properly, so we're going to have to cut it out. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pack this one side, pack the sand around it instead of packing it and doing an impression. But anyhow, I'm going to put the sand in around this as normal. When I do this, I will probably time-lapse this because it is quite long, and time-lapsing it actually makes it a lot more fun to watch than just watching me do it, the half an hour it's going to take. So anyway, like I said, we're going to go ahead and pack the sand around this, pack it really tight, and then we'll do the other side. So I will get back to you guys in just a bit. Okay guys, so now we have our base in here, and as I said, this is a very kind of an odd shape, so you can see where this pushed around it, which is why I wanted to do it this way. What I'm going to actually do is just remove a very small portion of this upper layer just by doing this. And what we are doing here is getting that little concave shape right there that when we pack our top sand around it, that will actually go in like that and complete our mold. So I'm going to continue to do this. Again, I will probably, time lapse this because it's really nothing spectacular to watch. So we will get back at you when I actually get this little booger out of here. Okay guys, hopefully we did this correct, got our angles right. This, like I said, is kind of an odd shape. Everybody thinks you just stick something in sand, like this, and you just make a mold of it. But you got to pay attention when anytime you're trying to do something three-dimensional and you have parts that turn or are different or whatever, or are not lined up. For example, four-legged animals are very, very hard to sand cast and get them to come out properly unless they have a base, someplace that you can tie everything together. And even then, it's not an easy chore, which is why you don't see too many castings like that. Most of the time that type of casting is done lost wax, where you actually, make the model and completely melt the model out of the mold. Kind of like we do for jewelry. Any other three-dimensional items that you're going to cast, you have to choose them wisely. So, anyhow, let's put this back over here. Okay guys, we got our mold separated. We had a little bit of a breakaway taking this out. There's our top. You can see where that's going to compensate for that first breakaway we had. It's convex now, this part of the mold. I actually ran out of time on the camera, so you didn't get to see me finish pulling everything out. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and do my sprue and my vents, and then we're going to go pour this. We're actually going to do this first one in copper, see how it comes out, and then we can get a pretty good idea of we can actually calculate how much silver it's going to take to pour this guy in silver. So I'm going to go ahead and put my sprue and vents in, and then we'll go pour us some metal. Okay guys, we will see you outside. Okay guys, I have spared you the 20 or so minutes that it has taken me to get this copper molten in this dish. We're going to go ahead and pour this now and see what we get. I don't know if we got it because I did it in like 3 separate little pours. I'm hoping it took. I don't know that it did, but we will see shortly. Pouring that amount of copper out of that little dish is just, and my little torch, I mean my torch is rated for 2 ounces. You know, possibly 3 ounces of silver, and that was probably 2 2/3 ounces of copper in there, which is a lot higher temperature, and it takes it a long time to get up to temperature. So I am hoping we actually got it to take. I don't know that we did. I'm still in the process of working on old silver, trying to see if I can somehow or another get it back up to snuff. I mean, the way it was built, when I bought it, was a homemade thing, and just the way it was built was not really, you know, it wasn't really designed to be probably used as much as I use it, or designed to be repaired. So let me pause for just a minute, and we will get back at you in just a second and see if this took or not. Okay guys, we did get a successful pour, and the one thing I actually do like about this is that when you look up the old-timey ones, you know, the old ones that were made, you know, hundreds of years ago, this is actually what they look like. You know, the new ones are actually kind of too machined and too perfect and too whatever, where this actually truly looks like the old ones when you see a picture of an old one. So I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and get this sprue cut off and get this cleaned up a little bit where we had a little bit of overpour, and we're going to polish it up a little bit after we drop it in the pickle pot, and we're going to see how this thing looks. I'm actually pretty satisfied with it. Kevin, I hope you are. Kevin, I always do that, I don't know why, but I hope you like this, and I hope you're going to like the silver one. So let me get the pickle pot turned on, and then we're going to get this thing cleaned up, and we'll show you what it looks like in the end. Okay guys, there was actually no reason to put you guys through a repeat of making this mold. I mean, you saw me do it with the copper one, so it would just be doing exactly the same thing over again. So we've got our silver. I've got 2.5 buffaloes here. That should be enough to pour this guy. I got a little bit of extra we'll put in just in case. I'm going to go ahead and get this dish heated up over here, and then we'll pop right back in at you when we're ready to pour this silver one, see how it turns out. So we'll be back at you in just a bit. Okay guys, once again I have spared you the boring part of the melt. The silver actually went a little bit faster because our melting point is lower than that of the copper. So it actually went, you know, probably a good 5 minutes faster. And my torch is more heated, you know, rated along that heat. So we're going to go ahead and pour our silver one and see what we get. Thinking that we just barely had enough silver to do that at 2.5 ounces. I could see it filling as it went through. So, and we did get a button, and we did get smoke out both of our vent holes. So hopefully we got a good pour. We're actually getting quite a cave in on that button. So we're just going to let it burn out there for a second, and then we're gonna see what we got. So I will get back at you in just a bit. Okay guys, there she is. I'm going to toss this one in the pickle pot for a little bit. You can see we had a cave in there. I'm hoping it bottomed out before we got into the piece. It looks like it's very close, but there she is. And that really, like I said, they really look like the old-timey ones, more so than even the one, you know, he sent me to make a thing out of. By using the case instead of using the piece, we actually got the effect of the old antique, you know, the ones from several hundred years ago. So anyway, let me get this cleaned up, and then we'll get back at you when they are both done. So we'll see you guys in just a bit. Okay everybody, here they are. They are finished. We did end up with a little tiny pinhole in this one. That cave in did go down to the base, but it's just got a little void in it. And there's our copper one. So this is what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and set the camera up, and we are going to go ahead and get these boogers marked, and we're going to get them out to Kevin. So we'll get back at you in just a second when I get set up to stamp these. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and get these boogers stamped, and we're going to get them ready to send off to Kevin. Okay guys, we got them marked. We've got our BYS in the middle. I have troy ounces up here, ounces here. This one is 2.23 troy ounces of silver. This one is 1.75 ounces AV of copper. 999 fine silver, 1 of 1, and copper, 1 of 1. So we are all done with them, and get started on our next project here in the next couple of days. So we will see you guys in the next video.
I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.